The following is a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.
Drivers and Danica, start your engines!
Pull those belts down tight. One more time. Warm up those tires. Hit your marks. And let's go racing, boys and girls. NASCAR, Indycar, Formula One, Formula E, NHRA, and local dirt track and drag strip racing talk. This is the Championship Racing Network.
Where'd you go? Where's your home? How'd you end up all alone? Can you hear me now? Hear me now?
Now, here's Steve West, Dustin Harmer, and Matt Nicholson with producer John Myers.
Welcome in. Another Saturday here as we are into the month of November already, and that means very few races left here in the year of 2017. I mean, when you think about it, we've got one more NHRA event. We've got 3 more NASCAR events, all 3 series, I believe.
Yeah, 2 for the trucks.
That's true, because they did run last night. And let's see, Formula
One's got Brazil and Abu Dhabi, and they're done.
Yep.
Wow, the only thing we got to look forward to is Formula E? Let me think about that for a couple minutes. Welcome into it. Championship Racing Network. I'm Steve West. Matt Nicholson, how are you?
Hello.
Dustin Harmer, how's the throat?
Sore. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, well, let's face it, folks. We've got a situation here where if the weather's not messing with you, congratulations, because the hot to cold to hot has messed with my sinuses. I've already had sneezing fits this morning. You're dealing with sore throat.
Considering it feels like a sauna outside right now.
I know. Yeah.
About 3 o'clock this morning, I had 0 voice at all.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. And then there's our intern over here.
What's up?
How's it going, Garrett?
Going great.
Good.
Gee.
Wow. Super stoked.
The excitement is palpable. You can cut it with a spoon.
Yes.
Anyway, what we got going on here is we got some guests coming in. First of all, let's talk about them.
Yes, we do. At 12:20, we're going to be joined by Jim Dennis and Lisa Lee from our newest partner here at the Championship Racing Network, Christmas in the Pines. They're going to be talking all about the Christmas programs that they've got going on up at the Kimulga Grist Mill in Childersburg. If anybody doesn't know where that is, it's probably because you're not from this area. Even I know where that's at. But it's out there. All you got to do is basically they're going to give all the direction. I'm going to let them talk about it.
Time of year.
But they have a huge light display out there, and they've got a hayride that's going to go through those lights. It's a mile-long hayride. So
this time of year, Kimulga, it's turning into a beautiful place.
Yes, it is.
Leaves changing. That is a gorgeous place this time of year.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be a great spot for them. We're going to hear all about them, and they're going to be joining us at 12:20 today.
Yeah, so stick around for that, and let's see how much we can get to in the meantime, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's start off with last Saturday at the Camping World Truck Series. Got their racing weekend underway at Martinsville. When all was said and done there, we had a first-time winner, Noah Gragson, all of 19 years old. He was the one doing his best impersonation of Elio Castroneves and Tony Stewart. He decided he was going to do the old climb the fence celebration going on to claim his first win in the series. And he wasn't given the win either. He had to get around 2-time Trucks champ Matt Crafton on the final restart to get the checkered flag.
Yeah,
he earned it.
He earned it on the outside line, too.
Yeah, you think about that. That's pretty interesting. Plus, and the trucks have been around for what, 25-ish years?
1995.
So not even 25
22, 23 years, yeah.
22 years, and Martinsville has claimed 10 first-time winners in the Truck Series.
Martinsville to Trucks is the equivalent to Cup and Xfinity at Talladega with first-time winners.
Yeah. And it's sometimes these tracks, they're magnets for the first time winners.
Yeah, I love those trucks running on that paperclip up there. I mean, that's just a great race altogether.
It's a great short track race.
Yeah, it's just great short track racing.
It reminds me of an old school late model race at a track you see around here. Montgomery, Pensacola, Huntsville, Cordell in Georgia. Is some of the tracks in North Florida. That's what the trucks at Martinsville reminds me of, old school, hard-nosed, short-track, late model racing.
Yeah, I got a chance to see one in person, and that was probably the greatest truck race I think I've seen. I mean, I love watching it on TV, don't get me wrong, everybody does, but seeing a truck race in person, there's no topping that. I'm sorry.
Gragson's win, as we mentioned, marks the 10th first-time winner in the Truck Series at Martinsville, also denied a playoff contender a chance to lock their way into racing for the title on Ford Championship weekend. Gragson, Crafton, second place, followed in the top 10 by Johnny Sauter. Harrison Burton, nice run for the not yet 18-year-old kid.
Yeah. We're going to hear a lot of stuff out of him.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Oh,
Todd
yeah.
Gilliland, Stuart Friesen, Kaz Grala, Christopher Bell, Ben Rhodes, Austin Cindric make up the top 10. But considering that they also ran last night in Texas, we'll give you the rundown on the points later.
Yes.
Sunday, Martinsville Speedway hosted the Monster Energy Cup Series.
This, folks, is where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
Just
Get
saying.
hot.
Stay tuned.
As opposed to Saturday's truck race, playoff contender was able to claim the win, lock themselves into Ford Championship weekend as one of the 4 title contenders. It was Shrub, Kyle Busch. He has, of course, the one title to his credit, seeking a second, and used a little bit of help from his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate to get the victory. That's putting it mildly.
Just a touch.
I think you call that setting a pick.
Yeah. Brad Keselowski seemed to be cruising to what might have been like a relatively easy win, as easy as Martinsville can be, when a caution flag flew because Keselowski's teammate Joey Logano developed a tire rub and ran it out to the point where it blew, which caused the 22 to spin. So the top 10 come into the pits. They all get their new Goodyear tires, pull out some fenders, things like that. And on the restart, Brad Keselowski gets bumped out of the racing line on the restart by Chase Elliott. Let's start there. All right.
Which part?
Yeah,
Let's start with
which
Chase.
part?
Lap
Start
2
with
or
Chase.
lap,
Hang on.
500?
Let's start with Chase Elliott
Okay.
bumping Brad Keselowski out of the way.
Okay.
Some people might say that what happened later was payback. Agree or disagree, resident driver?
Disagree.
Yeah.
How?
Disagree
And
to
why?
the 1,000th%. That move that Chase Elliott made on Keselowski was a clean, legal, common move you see in short track
Sure.
racing. Common.
Yeah.
There was no harm, no foul in that move.
Okay.
Your turn.
Yeah. That
By the
move-
way, for those of you that don't know, our intern Garrett is also a driver out of Talladega Short Track.
Yeah.
anyways, I think that move right there, that epitomizes Martinsville. That is a Martinsville move, what Chase did to
Bingo.
Keselowski. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a bump and run. I mean, that's what you do.
Martinsville, Bristol, Richmond,
Yeah.
Iowa.
You okay with that?
I'm completely okay with it because,
He didn't wreck him. He
No.
didn't run through him. He didn't run over him. He just
he rubbed him.
he bumped him out of
And
the way.
Rubbin's race.
And I'll add this too. I saw something on social media. I forgot which one of the brilliant media members of NASCAR said this. This is nothing.
You know, we are the brilliant media members of NASCAR, too.
You know what I'm talking about.
We raised the IQ.
You know which
That's
one
what
I'm
we
talking
do.
about.
We're setting the
That
bar.
is not a move you would have not. It was the same move you would have seen somebody like Dale Earnhardt, Darrell Waltrip, Rusty Wallace,
Yeah, how many times have we seen a move like that?
Neil Bonnet,
Yeah.
Chase's father, Bill.
Bill.
We will see that type of move. That move is fine. The reason is we'll talk about it in a few minutes.
Yeah.
The other driver still has control of the vehicle.
Yes.
Still has control of the
Yeah.
All right.
moving
so,
forward.
With that set, Chase Elliott assumes the lead after bumping Keselowski out of the way. Denny Hamlin is hot on his trail, and here's where the drama comes in.
Drama.
Bring it. With 2 laps to go, Hamlin ran over Elliott going into turn 1. My words, not anybody else's. We'll let everybody else comment in a bit. Caused the 24 to wreck. Hamlin got a bit out of sorts himself, recovered in time, and was racing Kyle Busch, but Kyle had the preferred line, rolls on to the win. We're going to get back to that Elliott-Hamlin situation a little bit later as we get into the news.
But wait, there's more.
There's always more.
Exactly.
Dun, dun, dun.
Trailing the younger Busch, Kyle, across the finish line were Martin Truex Jr., Clint Boyer, good run, then turned bad by NASCAR. Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, Trevor Bayne with a nice top 10 run for him. Denny Hamlin finishes 7th. Ryan Blaney, Matt Kenseth, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. For those of you that are curious where Chase Elliott ended up finishing, he was credited with a 27th.
And from Harvick
place
on
finish.
back, everybody came across the line in a wad of sardines.
It was
Yes,
mayhem.
it looked like somebody had taken one of those massive wrecks caused by fog and threw all of them into the dump yard, into the junkyard.
Here you go.
And said, we don't care, just put them anywhere.
But nobody did it with style and pizzazz like the 4.
That's true.
yeah.
And here's
You have
the
a
thing.
point.
For everything that we saw yesterday in qualifying at Texas, which we're going to get to here in just a second.
Yeah.
For what Kurt Busch experienced out of that.
Hello.
Because he, coming off of turn 4, went pretty much straight on into the wall. And that's a scary look.
Yes.
Even at a Martinsville where the speeds are relatively low, that's still something that's real scary.
We saw it a couple years ago. If you look back at the likes of Martin Truex Jr. when his accelerator got stuck.
Martin and Casey Kane,
At the same track, Martinsville.
And Casey Kane was a banking board,
And you want to talk about hit.
Yeah.
Man.
Yep, absolutely. So let's see here. Where are we? Kyle Busch is locked in with the win.
Right.
Martin Truex Jr. leads everybody else in the points. I know we're all shocked.
He's in.
Chase Elliott, being visibly upset following the race, is now last among the 8 contenders, along with Jimmy Johnson, Ryan Blaney, and Denny Hamlin, all below the cut line. Kevin Harvick is in 4th. He's 3 points up on Jimmy Johnson, 6 points up on Blaney, 8 ahead of Hamlin, and Elliott, because of Denny Hamlin, is 46 points behind the cutoff. Now, he can get in with a win. I'm not really all that certain he's going to be able to find his way in any other way.
He already had that win. The win was there already.
It should have been at Martinsville. I
It was
agree.
a half a mile away.
It was there.
I agree. Should have been there, but it wasn't. So now he has
Yeah.
to win. This is the race that you were talking about.
Bingo.
We're at Texas this weekend where he's been calling Chase Elliott.
I'm sticking to my guns.
And you know what?
The Hooters
I
owl.
can believe it.
The Hooters owl will fly.
The reason that I say no, not this weekend,
Too much
this
emotion?
weekend, it's going to be exactly that, Steve. Too much emotion. He's still going to be hungover from Martinsville. He's still going to be
Hungover or ticked off.
hungover. We're calling it
Did
hungover.
you see the press conference he
I
had
did.
yesterday?
I did see the press conference, and that's one you can be as prepped as you want, and you know this, and you
Yeah.
know this.
Yeah.
You've been in
Oh,
cars,
sure.
you know this. I know it too when I'm getting ready to get into my game. But
And there you have it.
exactly. But the thing is you can be as prepped as you want mentally, but once you get into that car and there's something going on, you can
All
be
that prep goes away.
exactly. It's gone out the window.
Mackinson
Poof.
syndrome.
Bye bye.
You get it. You get in the car. You zone out. Yeah, that's the simple way to say it. You get in the car. You zone out. You forget
Especially
everything else.
if you look at the likes of Matt Kenseth back at Martinsville, that race, he had an
Joey
issue, so he was several laps down, and he found his revenge. If he wasn't going to get it, he sure as heck was going to make sure that Joey Logano wasn't going to get. We're going to see the same type of setup. I think he's going to be extremely over-aggressive. That's not good at Texas at times, especially the way that thing will chew up some
I've gotta
tires.
disagree.
Especially the way that we're now seeing everything. We'll get back to this in just
Yeah.
a couple of seconds
Yeah, we
because
will.
Texas, with their reconfiguration of the track, is now a much different track.
Yeah, so we'll
Fast.
see.
Fast.
We're going to talk all about that in the last segment when we do our fantasy picks.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
there
are.
we are.
Because
All
we
right.
were on spot last week.
Yeah.
Formula One was down in Mexico City last Sunday. Lewis Hamilton, who just missed out on claiming the driver's title the week before in the U.S. Grand Prix, came into Mexico technically needing really only to score points or finish in the top 10, as long as second-place driver in the points, Sebastian Vettel, didn't claim the race win. The win didn't go to either of those title contenders. Instead, the win went to the young Max Verstappen, who claimed his second win of the season, the third of his young career. This is a kid who only turned 20 earlier this year. By the way, signed a contract extension. We talked about this last week. Going to keep him with Red Bull Racing at least through 2019. Christian Horner, Red Bull's team principal, said that the win last Sunday proved that the organization was right in locking him up. Verstappen got around both Hamilton and Vettel right off the start and held the lead outright by the second turn. On turn 3, Vettel and Hamilton actually got into each other, caused damage to Hamilton's car, also flattened a tire, so he had to limp around the course and pit almost immediately, so he went all the way to the back of the field. Vettel had a little bit of damage, but much less on his Ferrari, so he never really had the speed to contend with to get the win. Verstappen rolled on to an almost 20-second victory over Valtteri Bottas.
Adios.
Yep, Valtteri Bottas second, Kimi Räikkönen third, then Vettel in fourth, who trailed Räikkönen by 16 seconds at the end. That's almost a minute, by the way, behind the leader. And that's first to fourth. That's a huge,
Yeah,
huge gap.
that's a lot.
Esteban Ocon finished fifth. Lance Stroll, nice run for him in sixth. Sergio Perez, Kevin Magnussen, Lewis Hamilton in ninth. If you remember what I said before, you know what we're about to be getting into. Fernando Alonso 10th. A rare top 10 for the McLaren Honda team. Fernando Alonso not really seen celebrating all that much, sorry. With Vettel missing out on the podium and Hamilton getting into championship points, 2 of them, he gets the 2017 driver's title. That's his 4th career title. Ties him with the aforementioned Sebastian Vettel in the all-time F1 champions list, along with Alain Prost. The only 2 people that are above him, Juan Manuel Fangio, got 5 titles from 1951 through 1957. And, of course, Michael Schumacher, the all-time titles winner. He claimed 7 between 1994 and 2004. As we mentioned, following the the U.S. Grand Prix, Mercedes had already locked up the Constructors' Cup. So it is all Mercedes again. Seeing a trend here?
Just a
Mercedes.
little bit.
Yeah. Out west at the Strip in Las Vegas, NHRA Mellow Yellow Drag Racing Series got to their second to last event of the 2017 season. In Top Fuel, the final came down to Brittany Force against Terry McMillan. Force jumped the restart, in other words, red lighted. McMillan rolled on to the win, ultimately ran a 3.870 eighth mile, 253.99 miles per hour. In other words, backed off. The other Force sister, Courtney, made it to the funny car final, but she also lost. She didn't red light, at least. Matt Hagan got a whole shot win, rolled onto a 3.942 ETA at 329.42 miles per hour. Down in Pro Stock, the final was between Bo Butner and Greg Anderson, decided when Butner developed a severe tire shake, caused him to back off the throttle. Anderson claimed the win, 6.698 ET, 204.70 miles per hour. And finally, in Pro Stock, it was Eddie Krawick's hold shot that propelled him to the win. Hector Arana Jr., second place. The win, 25/100ths of a second. Ultimately, a 6.924 ET at 193.16 miles per hour for the win on a motorcycle.
Too fast for me.
Get her done.
Top three in Top Fuel going into the season finale will be Steve Torrance has a 20-point lead over Brittany Force, 84 points up on Doug Coletta. Those are the only ones with really a realistic chance at claiming the title.
Yeah.
The top two in Funny Car are Robert Height with the lead. Ron Capps is 15 back. Everyone else is pretty much out of contention. Three remain in real contention in Pro Stock Car. Greg Anderson on top, Bo Butner 40 back, Jason Lyons 76 down. And it's really a situation where Eddie Krawick only has to qualify on the top 16, and he claims the title because he leads L.E. Tonglet, the guy who dominated Pro Stock Motorcycle all year long, is now in second place by 150 points.
Talk about going the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wrong way.
And one more race to talk about last night in Texas. Camping World Truck Series race running the Jag Metals 350 driving Hurricane Harvey relief. It's a long title, but hey, at least it's going towards a great cause. One driver is now locked into the season-ending Ford Championship weekend as the title contender for the Truck Series, and that is Johnny Sauter. Been a good week for the Sauters, actually. On Wednesday, he and his wife Courtney welcomed their daughter Alice. This is their fourth child. Then he goes out Friday evening, claims the win over Austin Cindric, who is also a title contender. Third place went to your top seed, Christopher Bell, and then you got two other playoff contenders who had bad nights. Garrett, we were talking about this a little bit ago. John Hunter Nemechek.
Yeah.
And his team decided to gamble on fuel mileage. Yeah.
Failed.
Didn't pay off.
That didn't pay off at
I
all.
like the gamble, but
He ran out of gas with 13 to go.
yeah. I think he said that the crew told him they was about a lap short.
Yeah.
More like 11 to 12.
That's a baker's dozen.
You know,
In
shades of Las Vegas.
That's a little bit of a miscalculation there.
Yeah.
But here's
Yeah,
the
well,
thing.
he said that in the post race interview was
Somebody
a
forgot to carry a 10.
miscalculation. Yes, so carry the 10 plus the 1, second to the third pound. You know,
Weight of the can, times this, divided by this. Oh, we're a lap short. You missed it by 12.
we're how many feet above sea level?
He even said that he was like half throttle too. So yeah, there was.
Yeah, he said he was half throttling it and everything else.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Apparently, he got to let his emotion get a little bit of the better of him because not only did he run out of gas and had to come in and pit unexpectedly, he compounded the mistake by getting nailed for speeding on pit road.
Yeah, that didn't do anything better.
Ultimately, he finished 19th.
Better.
The other driver with bad luck was Ben Rhodes, who had run in the top 10 most of the night. He had a bad pit stop with 17 to go, dropped into the back of the front of the field, the lead lap of the field. He never recovered. He finished 18th. Your top 10 last night following Sauter, Cindric, and Bell were Chase Briscoe, Justin Haley, Kaz Gralla, Alabama's own Grant Enfinger from down in the Mobile area. Ryan Truex, Matt Kraft, and Noah Gragson finishes up following up his win with a top 10. So be interesting to watch him as he progresses into next year. Into the points, we mentioned it. Sauter's a lock for the season finale in Florida. As we mentioned, Christopher Bell's tops among the non-winners in this round of 6. He's up 31 points on Matt Crafton. Austin Cindric trails by 50 points, and he's the one in the cutoff position of 4th. Ben Rhodes, John Hunter Nemechek are below the cut line. They trail Cindric by 5 and 39 points, respectively. John Hunter Nemechek, he got some work to do at Phoenix and Miami. Or in Phoenix to get to Miami. I guess I should put it that way. We got to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the rest of this weekend's racing schedule. It's pretty much all NASCAR. Plus, we'll get back into the whole Hamlin-Chase Elliott thing.
Yeah, so make sure you're, if you're, of course, listening on Facebook, jump on there and say if you're Team Denny or Team Chase.
Yeah, that'll
So
be
we want to know. We've already got a couple of folks out there, so, make sure you jump over on the Facebook page and let us know what you think.
Yep. And in the meantime, make sure you got your drinks and your popcorn. It's going to get good next.
We will be right back with more on the Championship Racing Network.
Get in the Christmas spirit this holiday season at Christmas in the Pines. Starting November 17th through December 23rd, make memories during a mile-long hayride through the light displays and enjoy family time in the Christmas Village full of arts, crafts, and food. Plus many special guests, including Grammy nominee Judy Pancoast performing December 15th and 19th, and the one and only Santa Claus visits from the North Pole. Open daily from 5 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. 7 days a week at the Camulga Grist Mill in Childersburg. For more information, including admission, visit Christmas in the Pines on Facebook or ChristmasInThePines.com.
I am Sergeant Clay Warren. I suffered from PTSD. In 2013, I did my own life. Now my voice has been brought back to speak to people like me. Know that you're not the only one. Things can get better. You don't have to carry that burden anymore. Speak up now to get the help that you need.
22 veterans end their lives every day. You just heard the reconstructed voice of one of them. Seek help at mission22.com.
2 tires only, and back out to the track for more action on the Championship Racing Network.
Welcome back to the Championship Racing Network here on Yay 106.5 and WYEA 1290, coming to you live from the J&M Tank Line Studios in beautiful downtown Sylacauga. You can listen, of course, on air, Yay 106.5 WYEA 1290 on Radio Alabama. Family here. You can listen online at WYDA.net, or you can also download that super awesome Yay 106.5 app for smartphones and tablets, and they can get that where, Matt?
That would be on the App Store or the Google Play Store.
He's so trainable. But, of course, this segment of the show is brought to you in part by our great friends at Renaissance Bank. When you need financial freedom, make your first and only choice Renaissance Bank. Stop in and see Janice, Russell, and all the gals down there at 8th Avenue Southwest in downtown Childersburg, online at renaissancebank.com, or give them a call today and pick their brain. 256-378-4002. Renaissance Bank, the official bank of the Championship Racing Network.
All right, so the schedule for this weekend is NASCAR.
Simple.
NASCAR.
Yep.
Pretty simple.
Pretty easy. Today, O'Reilly Auto Parts 300 from Texas Motor Speedway. It's the Xfinity Series. It'll air on the NBC Sports Network and PRN Radio. It's a night race, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central Time. Then tomorrow, the Cup Series will run the AAA Texas 500 at Texas Motor Speedway. NBC Sports Network, PRN Radio, begins 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central Time. Kurt Busch is on the pole and in style.
Gentlemen, that is what you call shattering a track record. When you run an average of 200.915 at a mile and a half track, there's an old saying in racing that'll make your stomach go to your throat. But that's the nice way of saying it.
Yes, that's an edited version
That's
of it.
the
I like
version.
That's the radio version.
That's the radio version. That'll put your stomach in your throat.
This is the results, and we've talked about how speeds jump up at tracks right after they get repaved.
Yeah, and they're doing it with less horsepower, too.
Yeah.
lot
Texas
less.
not only got repaved, but they got reconfigured. They dropped down the banking in turns 3 and 4.
1 and 2.
Or, I'm sorry,
Yeah, one and two.
1 and 2.
1 and 2.
And he still pulled that off.
Yeah. 200.915. I saw that. I said,
Yeah. And he was not the only one. He was one of 4 drivers that qualified at over 200 miles an hour.
and when he got out of the car on his post-qualifying interview, you could tell he was literally out of breath.
Yeah, he was like, wow.
I think he took about 5 sips out of his little monster jug before he even said a word.
Yeah.
Yep. I saw that. Yeah, you're right. Formula One, NHRA, as we mentioned, have the weekend off. And then there's Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott.
Here we go.
All right.
Now it gets fun.
Let's get into the saga first, and then we'll get into commenting.
The saga.
To the Hamlin-Elliott face-off in the final laps. We just mentioned it a bit ago, last segment. Hamlin pretty much ran over, through, under, over, baton, between, besides, whatever.
Yeah, that.
It doesn't matter. Every single way that Denny Hamlin could have crushed and crunched Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin effectively did it.
Yes.
Wrecked him with a couple of laps to go. Eventually, Hamlin, passed by Kyle Busch, gets the win. Following the checkered flag, Elliott chases Hamlin down, kind of sideswipes him, let him know, I'm not happy with what I just had happen to me.
Yeah.
And the two ends up stopping on the track, getting out of the car, exchanging words right there, and then again when they get to pit road. After afterward, Hamlin initially claims it was just a racing incident.
Oh, it was better than that. I liked the one that he said. What I heard the week was what was the other one? He was being pushed.
Yes.
Push.
Yeah, there wasn't nobody close to him.
Yeah.
Rethinks his thoughts and sends out an apology to Chase and all of Chase's fans via Twitter. Said on his own personal Twitter page, quote, "I've raced nearly 10,000 races since I was 7. Sunday was the first time I've ever spun out the leader. I would be interested to see if that's actually
Red flag number 1.
I've got more races than Denny Hamlin.
I regret the outcome because it was not intentional the way it turned out, but I'm responsible for my own car and take blame. Nothing I say can turn back the clock, but it's a life lesson, and I hope no kids out there aspire to race thinks that's the way you should do it. It's becoming normal in our sport now, and I hate that I'm now in the discussion as a guilty party, but I'll move on and hope Chase, his team, and fans accept my apology."
I see a little pun in
Not
here.
accepted.
Turn back the clock. No
Dustin's
pun
going
intended.
last. Dustin's going last.
No.
NASCAR checks in on the events that took place after the race between the two drivers. They decided not to issue any penalties for any actions of either driver. Steve O'Donnell, who is NASCAR's executive vice president and the chief racing development officer, appeared on Sirius XM Satellite Radio's Morning Drive show on the NASCAR channel earlier this week, Tuesday, I think, said, quote, "What Chase was able to do in an attempt to win his first race there, you saw his fan base and how much everyone wants to see him win." Adding, quote, "Denny did what in his mind he needed to do and probably went too far. That race stands. We're not in the business of calling an in-race penalty post-race. That was good, hard racing, for the most part, all day at Martinsville." And then concluded, quote, "Denny might," I love this word, might, "Denny might have crossed the line," as he said on Twitter, "and I thought Chase handled himself very well. He showed passion. That's what this sport is all about. He's got a long career ahead of him. He'll be up front leading many times." Driver's perspective.
After that quote. After that quote. You know the GIF that you see on Facebook where the guy's batting his eyes going, "What was that?"
Say what?
Say it again.
Say what?
We should make him go last. He's bouncing over there.
I want to go last.
Garrett, from
I wanna
the
go last.
driver's perspective,
Driver A.
put yourself in Chase Elliott's shoes.
I'm mad. I do not blame his actions. I probably would have did a lot more than just say some words to him. To be honest
we need
with
some
you.
bad lip reading.
Okay,
But-
can you put yourself in Denny Hamlin's shoes?
Do you want to do that?
I can.
Can you see
I've-
yourself doing what you saw at Martinsville last Sunday?
I don't know. I'm not like that. That was blatantly obvious.
Yeah,
That
okay.
was completely. That was not
So-
a bump and run. That was a dump and run.
From a driver's perspective, looking at it not being in either of the cars, you as a driver, what's your first thoughts? What's your first impression?
That's dirty.
Just
Yeah,
that's it.
That's
Period.
flat out.
Dirty,
Yeah.
dirty.
Mr. Harmer,
Oh, I'm going to go second.
you're going
Yeah,
second.
you are, buddy.
All right. First and
This dude's
foremost,
been ramped up since last. He was
I've been
texting,
wrapped up since Sunday.
Yeah, he was texting right off the bat.
You go quick because this may take the rest of the break for me.
I got him. We're going to make him wait until the last segment.
Because that's the case.
First off, I don't know what planet Denny Hamlin is on. Okay.
Pluto.
Well, it's probably beyond that, Planet X or whatever they call that out there. But for him to immediately jump on and start saying things, he was just digging his hole deeper. Because when he said that he was being pushed, sorry, there's no other cars around
No.
you.
weren't.
All right.
Okay.
He was not digging his hole with a shovel. He was digging his hole with a PC 600 excavator, taking about 3 feet at
Brought
a
to you
time.
in part
out.
by Caterpillar.
Yes.
I don't dig with tools. I dig with explosives. So
And they used
But
a lot of C4 and dynamite.
First things first. One, he was not being blocked into him. He was not being raced into him. He was not being pushed into him or anything of that nature. It was those two on a breakaway.
Yeah.
Secondly, the thing that really stood out was the fact that we talked about it a little while ago with the fact that, Keselowski had control of his car when him and Chase got together. When your rear wheels are up off the ground, you have no control.
No.
Chase was along for the ride.
Yeah.
Hamlin knew what he was doing. It wasn't the fact that he got into him 3/4 of the way through the turn, halfway through the turn. He was on him on the back straightaway still. He had the tires lifted before they even got to the concrete in turn 3.
And of course, you've got to turn the wheel.
So as he's turning,
So as soon as those drive
nothing's
wheels
happening.
get back down on the ground, he's around.
Exactly. And that right there was why I call it a dirty shot. Hamlin knew what he was doing, and there ain't no way he's going to sit there and dig his way out of that one to say that he did not know.
My perspective is exactly the same. I looked at it exactly the same as you guys. As they're going into that turn, Chase Elliott got run over. Period. End of sentence. If there was no trunk there, Denny Hamlin's grill would have been something that Chase would have hit if he shifted gears. I mean, he ran through the 24
He
car.
knew what he was doing.
He absolutely knew every single bit of what he was doing. There was no accident. This was premeditated. And I'm sorry, in a court of law, he'd be found guilty.
And the funniest part about the entire situation between Hamlin and Elliott was the simple fact that this is Hamlin's home track.
Yeah.
And he was getting booed like he was Kyle Busch or Jimmy Johnson at every racetrack of every week of every bit of the season.
Yeah.
And where were they cheering? They were cheering for Chase.
Absolutely.
That right there, they talk about the fact that we want to see conflict.
Yeah.
The problem is our conflict is always coming at Martinsville, which is always during playoffs.
Right?
Yeah.
And then by the time it gets to the end of the season, we don't get anything to come at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
But for Chase, I think he handled himself extremely well. I did like his post-race comments where he said, well, my mama said. And I was like, man, you are so cool. But I felt awful for him because that was his opportunity. He was going to get that win right there.
Yeah.
That was it.
Well,
Like you said earlier, he was a half mile away.
The two of them jump out of the car on the track. And Denny Hamlin, if you're lip reading, he is immediately telling Chase, calm down, calm down.
Yeah.
Dude, if you were in Chase's shoes, you'd be every single
And every
bit
time,
as
every time he
intimidated
said,
as
calm
Chase
down,
Elliott.
Chase's eyes glared that much harder and that much harder.
You can read
Because
his lips.
the point I'm going to make here, the way Martinsville's lighting system is, most tracks
Which, by
have
the way-
it outside in. They have it inside out.
Yeah, by the way, fantastic
Yes, it
job
was.
on the
It was
lighting.
beautiful.
Oh,
It was
it was
beautiful.
gorgeous.
Amazing job.
Absolutely
If tracks would go
gorgeous.
inside out with lighting, it'd be great.
Yeah.
Oh, my turn.
Yes.
I've been on the receiving end.
Wake
of,
me up when he's done.
I've been on the receiving end of a move like this multiple times.
Okay.
You know when a move is blatant, and you know when it's unintentional.
Right.
Garrett will tell you, you can tell when a move is blatant and unintentional.
Yeah.
That was not a justifiable move. Now, granted, this is the only one time you'll hear me say that I agree with Hamlin. You have a chance to go to Miami on the line.
Mm-hmm.
But the entire top five had a chance to go to Miami on
That's
the line.
true.
Yep.
That's not a justifiable move. When you come off of turn two, you hit him one time, back up, pick him up again, like you said, and drive him into the corner. You have zero control of the car. Now, if he had got off of him and he would have been sideways through the corner and saved it, that would have been the most miraculous save in the history
geez, no
of
kidding.
NASCAR.
Especially if he would have went on to win.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't think
Chase
he
would have
would've
went on
been
to win.
able
It would have been.
I don't think he would have been able to do that. But either way,
Somebody
he'd
was
been able to recover
Somebody
that.
was going to wreck. There was going to be another caution.
If he'd been able to recover that 24 after being picked up
Yeah.
like that would, it would have
That
been miraculous.
was
Yeah.
the hands down the dumbest, most ignorant move I have ever seen in NASCAR.
And then to try to excuse it.
And to try to excuse yourself, there is no excuse for that move. You know better. You could have calculated that move better and pulled a classic. All it would have took was one touch.
Yeah.
It
And,
came-
right, halfway through the
one
turn,
touch.
right where you're supposed to do it anyway. Where it's supposed to happen,
It was
not on the
almost-
back
It
straightaway.
was almost like the Gibbs cars were, in a way, working together, setting picks for each other, and let
Right.
themselves fight it out at the end.
Penske was doing the same thing between the
Penske
22 and the
was
2.
doing
Yeah.
Bush
the
took,
restarts.
Bush took out Logano. That set the move up for Hamlin to get through. Hamlin set him up. There you go. That's not a justifiable move.
If you go back about, give or take 20 years, and it might be 20 years exactly, I can't remember the exact year, that Dale Earnhardt bumped Terry Labonte and
Bristol.
rolled onto the
Yeah.
wing of Bristol. And a lot of people started to bring that up in quote-unquote defense of Denny Hamlin. Here's the thing
has no
about
defense.
that. What we were seeing out of what Dale Earnhardt did back then was, and we had seen it for the previous, 3-4 laps,
Yeah.
where he was going up and he was tapping on the back bumper of Terry Labonte and saying, hey, listen,
I'm here.
faster than
I'm
you.
here. Don't mess up.
Yeah, I'm faster than you. I'm here and everything. And then all of a sudden, he was like, you know what? I got the chance to win this. He just tapped him just enough to get Terry up and out of the race.
Here's the difference between that move and this move. Earnhardt did it in the center of the corner.
That's true.
Bump and run. Hamlin drove Elliott into the corner.
Yeah.
It's not a justifiable move. Many people in the media saying Hamlin was justified in that. There is no justification in driving somebody into the corner like that. So Elliott,
there's
Elliott's going to get him.
There's plenty more to talk about with this.
I could go on for the next hour about this.
Yeah, well, there's all kinds of different other pieces of this here.
And here's where I think this is probably going to happen. If Chase Elliott has a bad day today or tomorrow, which I don't necessarily see happening because Hendrick has a pretty good 1.5 mile program. If he has a bad day, Denny Hamlin's going to have a bad day. If Chase Elliott ends up to the point where he is not, for whatever reason, going on to contend for the title at Ford Championship Weekend, and Denny Hamlin ain't going to contend for it.
Hamlin will not win the title if Elliott has something to do with it.
Hamlin's got a target on his back from here to the end of the season.
Got it. Going to be talking a lot of Stewart-Haas Racing here. They're going to deal with a penalty. They're going to deal with who's going to be in the number 10 car, and we're going to talk about their sponsor as well. All of that is all tied up along with Richard Petty Motorsports. How? We'll tell you about it when we come back.
Don't touch that dial. The Championship Racing Network will be right back.
Starting a business can be a hassle. The most important part of that starts with the right bank to take care of your business's financial future. Renaissance Bank is ready with the tools you need to not only establish your company, but grow your current company. With multiple business accounts, Renaissance can make sure that you have the right account to fit your needs. Skip the hassles and visit Renaissance Bank on 8th Avenue Southwest in Schildersburg today and get your business on track to succeed. Online at renaissancebank.com. Renaissance Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Get in the Christmas spirit this holiday season at Christmas in the Pines. Starting November 17th through December 23rd, make memories during a mile-long hayride through the light displays and enjoy family time in the Christmas village full of arts, crafts, and food. Plus many special guests, including Grammy nominee Judy Pancoast performing December 15th and 19th, and the one and only Santa Claus visits from the North Pole. Open daily from 5 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. 7 days a week at the Camulga Grist Mill in Childersburg. For more information, including admission, visit Christmas in the Pines on Facebook or christmasinthepines.com.
I am Sergeant Clay Warren. I suffer from PTSD. In 2013, I ended my whole life. Now my voice has been brought back to speak to people like me. Know that you're not the only one. Things can get better. You don't have to carry that burden anymore. Speak up now to get the help that you need.
22 veterans end their lives every day. You just heard the reconstructed voice of one of them. Seek help at mission22.com.
Fuel only. Go, go, go. We're back to the Championship Racing Network.
Welcome back into the Championship Racing Network here on EA 106.5 and WYEA 1290. Coming to you live from the J&M Tank Line Studios in beautiful downtown Sylacauga. Online, WYEA.net, or make sure you get that EA 106.5 app for smartphones and tablets. You can find it on the Google Play Store or iTunes and all that stuff. Right, Matt? Right. So, we were having an interesting conversation before, but before we do get into that, Steve, we have some interesting stuff that's going on with the show.
If you had just heard, if you were listening through the break, you just heard us with an announcement by a group called Mission 22, and we're starting to work with them pretty closely here.
Yes, we are.
And really, the reason why is because if you are not a veteran, which Dustin is,
right?
I'm the son of a veteran. My father served in the Navy and went into the Air Force, came out. You probably know somebody that served. Mm-hmm. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, National Guard, Air Reserve, whatever. These guys, they do a lot of great help, and they've been teaming up with a group called Racing for Awareness as well. This is the cooperation between these two is fantastic.
And you bring up one part of that is our great friend Joey Jatina. Of course, we've had him on the show quite a few times, and this is his organization, Racing for Awareness, and of course he was affected by a suicide in the family at a young age, and it affected him. And this, we've seen him on the track, but this is his opportunity to find out how he wants to give back and do that. So he's got Racing for Awareness, and now he is partnered up with the folks at Mission 22. Now, for anybody who doesn't know what Mission 22 is, Mission 22 is all about veteran suicide. It's all about bringing awareness to veteran suicide, because yesterday, and I don't know if anybody knows this, yesterday, over 20 U.S. veterans committed suicide.
Wow.
Each and every day in the United States, 20 veterans commit suicide, and that is what we are wanting to help stop as well. Mission 22 does so many different things, but it's not just about awareness. It's not about just the veteran suicide. They've got comprehensive wellness plans. They've got karate places like Brazilian jiu-jitsu that they do. They've got all these great things that help folks that are suffering from PTS, not PTSD like they used to call it, but it's PTS.
Yeah.
And it gives them an opportunity to kind of clear their mind and get things back and help them reacclimate over to the civilian side of the world. They've also got holistic health. They've got all kinds of different specialized programs that can help them with things like war detox.
Yeah.
Trying to get past all of that. So Mission 22 does amazing stuff. Their mission, they've got 3 points: veteran treatment programs, war at home memorials, and national awareness. They do memorials where they get folks together, they get veterans together, they try to have big events, and it just brings the community together. And the reason that Mission 22 is so big, especially with us, is the fact that we know that NASCAR fans are very loyal to the brands. They're very loyal to those who support and everything. And we're very, very patriotic.
Yes.
So Mission 22, it's great to have them on the show, of course. You'll be hearing about them a lot more, as well as Racing for Awareness in the coming weeks. There's some other stuff going on.
Yeah, there's some things in the works in the background.
Yeah, so we are not at liberty to discuss that at this time, but we will let you know kinds of things that are going on. I have also become an ambassador for Mission 22, so in the local area, as well as Joey Jatina has, and of course Nikki has became an ambassador as well. So we're going to be getting heavily involved, especially with the show with Mission 22.
Absolutely. All right, back into the news here, where Stewart-Haas Racing suffered a penalty on the number 14. NASCAR officials determined that one of the weights was found to be out of specifications according to the NASCAR rulebook. It's a weight that's used when the car is not carrying a camera either on or in the car during a race. And they just didn't like how it looked, I guess.
That's a new one on me.
Yeah.
Somebody explain this one to me, seriously. I don't get this one.
If a car has an in-car camera,
right,
it weighs a certain amount.
It weighs a certain amount. The other cars have to put weight in the car to equal that to where all cars are on equal weight.
Okay.
So that doesn't make, if you've got a car with in-car camera, does not make it heavier and put it at a weight disadvantage to the other ones. It equals the weight out for everybody and makes it fair on a weight advantage.
Oh, yeah, because you're probably talking about a battery as well.
It is interesting
Battery,
how
the camera.
how it's out of specifications. It's a weight.
Welcome to NASCAR in 2017.
Probably
in all of this, because of this weight being
Did the
out
weight
of
melt away?
Yes. Because of it being out of specifications, the penalty docks Boyer 10 driver's points. Crew chief Mike Bugaravich gets a one-race suspension and a fine of $25,000. Stewart-Haas Racing has said no appeal will be filed.
That's so stupid.
Stewart-Haas Racing, speaking of things going on in the background, put out an email Wednesday, I think it was, to fans of the company and said that they would be announcing the driver of the number 10 Ford Fusion for 2018 coming up this Wednesday. Danica Patrick, of course, is in her final 3 races driving that car this coming Wednesday during what they're terming a Smithfield meet and eat at the SHR shop in Kannapolis, North Carolina. They will reveal the new driver of the number 10. Now, sources. We are not saying that this is confirmed.
Stand by. Sources.
This has actually been done.
Sources are saying something that we started to bounce back and forth since it was announced. Number one, that Patrick was going to be gone from the 10 car after the season. That Eric Almirola might take over the number 10 car. We talked about it, and others have talked about it. Yeah.
And it seemed a little bit more like that might be the case when Stewart-Haas Racing signed Smithfield Foods away from Richard Petty Motorsports, and they announced that Richard Petty Motorsports wasn't keeping Almirola for 2018 either. All of these things kind of started to come through, and we just kind of said, you know what? The dominoes are kind of falling that way, but we don't know anything.
And we don't have anything 110% locked down to say whether that is the case or not.
Motorsport.com is reporting that Eric Almirola has signed.
They're always
the
at the
driver.
forefront.
ESPN.com is saying sources are saying that Eric Almirola will be in the car.
My Magic 8-Ball told me that Eric Almirola is going to be in the 10. Let's go ahead and write the story.
ABC is saying that Eric Almirola is the driver of the number 10. We don't know any of that.
Yeah.
What we do know is this. Stewart-Haas Racing and Smithfield Foods are having a meet and eat on Wednesday, and they will announce it then.
Yeah.
We'll announce next week who will be in the number 10 car.
Yeah, you know,
That said,
all of us share stuff on the show page and all
Sure.
that, but we also know what not to share.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things that we share just because, and it's like, y'all are really that dumb.
Okay. Speculation time. When it's all said and done. Who is it?
I'm going to go last.
All right.
Let Bouncy over there do it.
Bouncy.
Yeah, we'll call you Bouncy.
One bullet point I want to make first. Everybody knows that Stewart-Haas is really, really, really good at hiding information.
Yeah.
They're
the
really
Ford
good at
thing came so far out of left field we couldn't see straight.
Yeah.
Not from us.
Yeah, what? Stewart-Haas is good at hiding
They threw us a curveball when they announced the switch
Yeah.
from Chevy to Ford.
Yeah.
If you look at the picture that has the meet and eat promo with a silhouette of the
I
driver,
do have a silhouette, yeah.
it does not resemble Eric Almirola.
That is true.
Would you make it look like Eric Almirola?
Well,
It could have looked like Bozo the Clown for all I care.
It doesn't.
I think it's going to be a surprise.
So you're saying it's not?
I'm
Eric
saying it's
Almirola.
not Almirola. Which
You're
I
going
probably-
based off the hairdo?
I probably will be wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
All right. Thoughts, Garrett?
I think it's going to be Almirola, but if it's not, I've been hearing some people say Matt Kenseth.
Okay, Matt Kenseth.
That's what I was going to say.
I'm not saying Matt Kenseth at all.
Okay.
I doubt that's going to take place. They're going to look for somebody that needs to go into that 10. And right now, your sponsorship is going to need somebody that's a lot more solid over in that 10 car.
Yeah.
I think all signs point to Almirola because of the Smithfield Association, but if we didn't know about who it was going to be, we really would have no clue right now.
Yeah. The interesting thing that I have been hearing, and I'm not saying he's in the car, but we know that Landon Castle's not returning to Front Row Motorsports. I have heard some people try to attach Landon Castle to the 10 car. And
That would I don't know.
Landon Castle, I will say this about Landon Castle. He has proven to be able to run that car to its very edge of performance.
Yeah.
And we talked about Front Row Motorsports. With all due respect to them, let's face it, they don't put the greatest equipment out there.
No.
Okay, but Landon Castle's been able to do some pretty good things with some pretty inferior equipment, and that will open eyes of people. Okay, and there are pretty good judges of talent up there at Stewart-Haas Racing.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I would think.
I could think that I could think that Landon Castle might be there, but to me, there's just too many things that do seem to be pointing towards Almirola.
Yeah.
But again, we don't know anything. I'm not saying that he is. I'm just saying I think it probably will be.
Dustin said this in a different version of the way I'm going to say it. From her to Almirola would really be at or below a lateral move.
Yeah, sideways move at best.
At best. To pick that 10 car up and get Stewart-Haas back to that elite level, it's going to have to be somebody along the lines of Kenseth, or dare I say, Carl Edwards comes back.
But in this case, and quite frankly, this could actually also be true in Almirola's case.
Yeah.
Aren't they really a placeholder? Aren't we just waiting to see when Cole Custer's ready?
That's Cole Custer's seat.
Aren't they priming that car for him technically?
Or when Harvick gets ready to say, I'm done, the 4 car could be Cole Custer's.
It could be.
It's going to be a couple years.
It'll be a few years, no doubt.
You
I
know
agree with
better
that.
than I do. I don't know how old Kevin Harvick is. How old is he?
42.
Yeah,
Oh, is he in his
40,
early
he's in
40s?
his-
42, 43.
42, 43.
He's still got a lot.
He's still got a lot of racing.
He's
in
still
him,
got
but
a
it
lot
depends on
in the
how much he
tank.
wants to do, because
Yeah.
we're starting to see now drivers, Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, this year, Dale Earnhardt Jr., they're stepping out of the car in their early to mid 40s.
Yeah.
So Kevin Harvick is getting to that point. Whether he follows that suit, that's another story entirely. We don't know.
And see, my whole thought about the 10 car was, for them with the sponsorship issues, I looked at them thinking, hey, maybe we'll see as a part-time car. We'll see Cole Custer run some races, some select races, things of that nature.
Like an all-star
just
car.
to give him a chance to go in, but that was about it. I didn't really see them locking down a full-time person, but my thought process on that is, if you bring Almirola over, it can't be just a 1-year deal with Smithfield and Almirola.
I think.
No,
So
it's gonna
whoever
be
is
more
going
than
to
that.
be is going to have to be ready to basically give up that seat when it's time for Cole Custer to come up.
Yeah.
So
We'll see
that's
whether that happens or not.
That's the things you have to look at in this equation right now, is the fact that of those types of things.
It's going to be a very
the reason I'm saying I don't think it's Almirola, because A, you look why they missed, motorsport.com in particular missed the ball on Kurt Busch.
Huge.
They missed the ball on Brennan Poole. It's not confirmed yet, but I'm saying they missed the ball. And they threw this out there. Wait a minute. They've not got a good track record this year.
Yeah.
By all means.
They've been trying to throw stuff up against a wall to make it stick. And
Making it stick.
And what's amazing to me is the fact that everybody keeps continuing to use them as the source, as in, sources say, just because they want to throw a story out there.
I would say this year, in hindsight, Jim Utter and Lee Spencer have lost a lot of credibility this year.
Yeah.
You
got to stop going out there, and I understand wanting to be first and being able to say, hey, listen, we had it before anybody else. I get that.
Yeah.
But we've said it here. This is the cornerstone of the show. I would rather be last and get it right than be first and be wrong.
Exactly.
Bingo,
Exactly.
bingo, bingo.
As for next year and where Smithfield Foods was or is still for the remainder of this year, the number 43. Next year, we do know, of course, it's Darrell Bubba Wallace Jr. from down in the Mobile area. He and Richard Petty were on hand in Texas unveiling one of their primary sponsors for next year, Click and Close. If you've never heard of them, I understand. They have become the official, by the way, home mortgage company of NASCAR as well in this sponsorship agreement. That's really only going to cover 3 races in 2018 where they're going to be on the hood as the primary sponsor. One of those will be the Daytona 500.
It'll probably evolve to more.
I'm sure it will.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting note about the unveil. While it was placed on a Ford Fusion, Richard Petty told reporters that the team has not finalized the manufacturer that they're going to be with in 2018.
Hello, bow tie.
The suspense.
There have been a lot of
Chevrolet.
connections there, too.
It's Chevrolet.
There really has been. There's been a lot of connecting there as well. And Smithfield Foods is going to continue on as kind of a part-time sponsor with them. Associate for the most part. They might be on the hood for a couple of races.
Yeah.
Just as that deal that allowed them to skip off to Stewart-Haas. Hendrick Motorsports has hired back Darian Grubb. Grubb worked for Hendrick Motorsports, then got hired by Stewart-Haas Racing, called the shots for Tony Stewart. The pair claimed the 2011 Cup title. Grubb's first, Stewart's third. That was his last year, by the way, for the 14. He moved right over from there to Joe Gibbs Racing, crew chief for the aforementioned Denny Hamlin, and then Carl Edwards before he went back to Hendrick in 2016 to help build cars for all 4 teams. Grubb was asked to take over the crew chiefing duties for Casey Kane, where he's been for the past 6 races. He's going to remain in that slot when Kane moves out, and William Byron moves up from Xfinity to Cup next year. Byron turns all of 20 later this month, nailed down 3 wins this season, still a championship contender. Grubb, meanwhile, has 23 Cup wins to his credit, plus the championship as the crew chief with Stewart. He's also got 1 championship when he was an engineer on the Jimmy Johnson number 48 back in 2006.
Byron probably gets his 4th win today.
Byron rolling onto the win.
Byron goes to the win.
Preview of his last segment of the show today.
Yep.
There you go.
For Xfinity.
Liberty National Life Insurance is coming on board as a sponsor for Richard Childress Racing in the number 31 Chevrolet Camaro Cup entry for 2018, be driven by Ryan Newman. This will be the primary sponsor in several as yet unnamed races while acting as an associate sponsor all season long. Of course, all of this starts at Daytona. This is a company you know a little bit about, so
Just
we're
a
just
little
gonna
bit.
move right along and not let you be partisan. Discount Titer has announced that they're upping their sponsorship with Team Penske. They've announced that the number 2 of Brad Keselowski is going to have the company as a primary sponsor for 10 races in 2018, including the season-opening Daytona 500 and the final race at Homestead, Miami. Sponsorship deal splits their primary sponsorship arrangement. It'll take some of their Xfinity Series races off of the 22 and move them up to the 2 in the Cup Series, and this actually turned out to be a needed boost for the 2 car because Miller Lite, which we have seen on the 2 car since 1991, has said that while they will remain with Team Penske and still remain a primary sponsor for Brad Keselowski, they're backing down the number of events. They're dropping from 24 down to 11.
That is a huge drop. That is a very significant drop. And I don't know.
That is
When Discount Tires said we're jumping up to the Cup Series for 10 races, I went, something else is going on. And Discount Tire was what, Thursday?
Yeah.
As soon as you let me know, Matt let me know about that move.
Yeah.
And I went, wait a minute. Something in the back of my head just went, something else is going wrong. And then Friday came the news of Miller Lite, and I'm like, wow, that's a big move.
21 out of 36 races covered.
That is huge.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's take a break here. When we come back, we're going to go to court. No, it's not Tony Stewart and Kevin Ward. It's Michael Waltrip Racing. You remember them?
Yeah, just a little.
Got an itch? Scratch it. We'll talk about a scratch that was, or an itch that was scratched.
Bad scratch.
Scratch that was itched.
Scratch the itch. It's the scratch.
It's the Itchy and Scratchy Show on Championship Racing Network next.
Stay right here for more on the Championship Racing Network.
I am Sergeant Clay Warren. I suffered from PTSD. In 2013, I ended my own life. Now my voice has been brought back to speak to people like me. Know that you're not the only one. Things can get better. You don't have to carry that burden anymore. Speak up now to get the help that you need.
22 veterans end their lives every day. You just heard the reconstructed voice of one of them. Seek help at mission22.com.
Choosing a bank is not an easy task. You're trusting your money and your future in the hands of strangers. At Renaissance Bank, you're no stranger. You're part of the family. Renaissance can meet all your banking needs with the tools you need to secure your family's financial future. They even have tools for your kids like student checking. No monthly maintenance fee on a balance of $500 or more, unlimited check writing, and open the account with just $50. Visit a branch today in Childersburg, Chelsea, or Sylacauga for more information. Give your kids the tools to have a prosperous and successful future. Online at RenaissanceBank.com. Renaissance Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The following is a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.
Drivers and Danica, start your engines!
Pull those belts down tight. One more time. Warm up those tires. Hit your marks. And let's go racing, boys and girls. NASCAR, Indycar, Formula One, Formula E, NHRA, and local dirt track and drag strip racing talk. This is the Championship Racing Network.
Where'd you go? Where's your home? How'd you end up all alone? Can you hear me now? Hear me now.
Now, here's Steve West, Dustin Harmer, and Matt Nicholson with producer John Myers.
Welcome back in hour number 2 of the Championship Racing Network here on Yay 106.5. Appreciate you checking us out. We're also on Facebook Live right now. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hope everybody's doing well. We're still into NASCAR. Good grief. Former tire changer for the now defunct Michael Waltrip Racing settling his lawsuit against the former racing team. Brandon Hopkins, who was a former tire changer at Michael Waltrip Racing, said he was fired from the team when he requested some time off to have shoulder surgery performed. However, MWR, he claims, chose not only to grant the time off, but accused him of stealing a pit gun and told other teams in NASCAR not to hire him. In other words, effectively blackballing him. The statement released by both sides said, quote, "The parties to this litigation are pleased to announce they have amicably resolved their disputes in their entirety and wish each other well in the future." Blah,
I love
blah,
when
blah,
things
blah,
end
blah,
up
blah.
amicable.
Yeah. I get the feeling it was less than amicable.
Yeah, I would guys say that.
I don't know whether Brandon's going to get another job. That's another story entirely. I guess it is all on how well his shoulder is healed. Good luck. Front Row Motorsports squashing rumors that they are moving from Ford to Toyota for 2018. Front Row Motorsports General Manager Jerry Freese told Motorsport.com earlier this week, quote, "We kind of hear those stories too, but I think that we're likely going to stay in the Ford camp." Said that they have been in discussions with Ford officials to how to improve the performance of the numbers 34 and 38. What they did come up with is that Ford is moving Front Row up to the Tier 1 engine program and have worked out a deal with Roush Fenway Racing to supply Front Row Motorsports with both super speedway and road course cars. Front Row then can concentrate on their own cars for the other tracks. As for the drivers of those two cars we just mentioned, Landon Castle is out. Michael McDowell is rumored.
Rumor has it.
To be the front runner for that role. David Reagan reportedly is close to re-signing with the team, but neither have officially signed as of this time.
This is a very interesting move if Front Row goes from Ford to Toyota and gets this type of support.
Well, but if they stay with Ford and this comes to fruition, that's either one looks to be a boost that Front Row Motorsports is really
They're
needed.
getting a boost all the way around.
Either way.
Yeah.
I look at them to actually do better with Toyota. Did I just say that?
They might. They might, because they would be put in on the Tier 1 engine program over at TRD immediately.
Well, of course.
Yep.
But if they were to move up to the Tier 1 engine program at Ford and not have to worry about building super speedway or road course cars, that might be in the longer term, in my mind, in their best interest.
Yeah, I don't think Ford's in our best interest, though. Seriously, I really don't.
Yeah, you might be right.
I'd rather see him. I would rather see him make a change, like a big change like that.
I would rather see an alliance with Ford with Penske than Roush Fenway. If they stay with Ford
at this point,
alive with Penske,
as things stand right now, anybody with half a brain cell would go to Penske over Roush right at this point.
Yeah.
And then there's the odd curveball of Stewart Haas Racing, which is building up their own programs in house, where they're working up the shop right now to build not only their own engines, chassis, and bodies and all that. I mean, at some point in time, Stewart Haas Racing might be looking at trying to become the Ford version of Hendrick Motorsports, for all I know.
Stewart Haas, the way they're building that campus up there, it's going to be the Ford's corner of the campus.
They
It
may
looks
end
like
up being
Hendrick.
the go-to. Forget about Roush Fenway and Team Penske. If
Yeah.
you're going forward,
Penske's
you're
going to
with
become
Stewart
like
Haas.
second rate. It's like, wait a minute, we were like first forever.
Well, it's because you guys only have 2 cars. We came walking in with 4.
Right, we got 4.
And we walked in when on our first year, we had 3 drivers who had titles to their credit.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to be said for that. Officials in the Xfinity Series have announced that they are going to be taking the drafting package that they used earlier this year at Indianapolis, use it again at Indianapolis in 2018, but they're also going to take it to Michigan and Pocono.
I'm interested to see Michigan. That's going to be good.
When William Byron picked up the win in Indy in late July, it was a race featuring 16 lead changes in a 100-lap event. That was a record for Xfinity.
Very
at
exciting
Indianapolis
race.
Motor Speedway.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely.
The package included aero ducting, a different spoiler, and a restrictor plate as well. All those going to expand to those 3 races in 2018. Most of the drivers in the Xfinity Series said that they liked the new rules. One driver who raced in the Xfinity Series race at Indianapolis earlier on this year was not a fan.
Oh, no.
Anyone care to guess which moonlighter this might be?
Some probably really hated.
Some little Bush kid.
Bush kid?
He's on to
Shrub.
something. Shrub. Kyle Busch said he wasn't a fan following a 12th place result at the race that he'd won the prior 2 years.
Oh, no.
Busch said that NASCAR intentionally slowed down the fastest car because it was him. Well, if that's the case, good.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Steve, you just rattled the whole the whole building
felt
here
the whole building
at
shake.
Radio Alabama. Tell us, do you need to lay down on the couch and tell us how you really feel at this
I'm
juncture?
not sure about what Pocono will look like, but I will go on a limb
Michigan
and say
ought to be real interesting.
Michigan will resemble a race like Talladega or
Talladega, yeah.
Daytona.
Could be.
Michigan should be extremely exciting in that event, and I don't even know why they asked him in the first place. If he's running faster than everybody else, maybe you shouldn't even be there. Wait a second, we've only been saying that
Yeah,
for how
we've
many
already been
years?
talking
Go home, do your homework, get faster.
Yeah.
That's simple.
Exactly.
Oh, if you don't what was always what's always the thing? You know, if you went to Big Bill France or whatever, well, they're just running faster than me, or I don't like this. Well, you better change something and do something different.
Here's the thing that you can do. If they're running Chevys and you're running Fords and they're running faster than you, you can go over to Ford and you can work with them to get faster. Or you can go over to Chevy and say, hey, listen, we want your cars.
The funny part about the entire situation would be the fact that Big Bill France would tell him, you shouldn't even be racing in the Xfinity Series anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. To the Camping World Truck Series, Austin Wayne Self is slated to move over to Nice Motorsports beginning at 2018 at Daytona. Details on sponsor and crew chief have yet to be finalized. The team, though, is saying they will be a full-time entry. Matt Crafton, as we've talked about here on the show in the past, is perfectly happy right where he is in the Camping World Truck Series. Got 2 championship titles, 14 wins, 13 pole positions, all while piloting the number 88 Toyota for Thor Sport Racing. The team has picked up their contract option for the 39-year-old, so he will stay with Thor Sport through 2018 at least. And he's going to be perfectly thrilled to do so.
Yeah.
Because, again, we talked about it. He's a man that's happy right in his slot.
Yeah.
I like
He's
it.
in his comfort zone.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, I
What are
did
you
not know
guys
that.
talking about?
Greg chimed in on the Facebook page and
As
reminded
in Garrett's
Yeah,
dad?
Garrett's dad.
Yeah.
Chimed in. He says, y'all watch it now. Garrett is a Bush fan.
Tough.
I was not aware of that.
The man is a talent. We have no dispute on that. We may not like his personality, but
Now, what have you got quiet? He's
at
like,
the Cup
oh,
Series level,
Bush fan?
I'll staying out of it.
He just doesn't need to be sitting and racing in the Truck Series or Xfinity.
This is a good question for you, though, before we move on.
Okay.
Your thoughts on him racing in the Xfinity? You're a Kyle Busch fan, fanatic, whatever you want to call it, the kind of thing. What are your thoughts about him racing in the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series instead of concentrating on just that top level and being as dominant as he is and people having issues with it? Do you like the fact that your guy is moonlighting in the other series?
I like the fact. I mean, I like the fact that he drives mostly in the Xfinity Series, not the trucks now, because I feel like the trucks is an extreme, learning experience and stuff. But I feel like, he just likes to race.
Right.
I mean, I do too. And every opportunity he gets, he races. And
Do you
I
think-
don't have no problem with that.
Do you think that it takes away from the other drivers, though? The only reason I ask this because we've been talking about it for so long, and now you're on the hot seat, buddy. Yeah, because
Now that we found out.
now that we found out, now
Thanks, Greg.
Now let's go to Garrett with our weekly Bush update. He's mad again. Okay, but for a lot of people, a lot of folks, they don't like seeing not just Kyle, but they don't like seeing Kevin. They don't like seeing everybody else
Joey
down
Logano,
there.
Brad
Joey
Keselowski.
Logano, Brad Keselowski. The anger is across the board fully.
Yeah.
that they don't belong there if they're running at the top level.
The fans, I know they don't like it, but if they ask certain Xfinity drivers, and they've said that it helps them prepare better for when they start racing on Sundays.
Why would they
It
Are you
actually-
okay
Yeah.
with the limitations that NASCAR's putting on the number of races that they can run?
I'm okay with that. I really am. I don't want to ever see it where they can never race an Xfinity Series, because ever since that Xfinity Series has started, way back when it was the Busch Grand National Series, Cup drivers have always raced in it.
Yeah.
But now
The
since
thing that caught me about it, and this is directly from Kyle Busch, and we talked about this in the show's previous life.
Yeah.
It was a few years ago when Darrell Bubba Wallace Jr. was driving over there, and Kyle Busch seemed to be winning 10 Camping World Truck Series races in a season.
Yeah.
And his own sponsors for Kyle Busch Motorsports were complaining to Kyle, "You're overshadowing what we're trying to do with Darrell."
Yeah.
And that's when you start hearing from your own sponsors, you're doing it too much.
Yeah.
You need to back off.
Yeah, and I think that's why he backed off from the Truck Series. I think he only ran a handful of races. I know 1 or 2.
Yeah.
4, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. Let's get back to last night. One more note here in NASCAR, and Hendrick Motorsports had something to celebrate along with the win for Johnny Sauter. The win marked the 400th time that a Hendrick Motorsports engine found its way into victory lane, because his team, GMS Racing, gets all their equipment from Hendrick Motorsports. 400 times for an engine from
That's a
Hendrick
lot.
Motorsports to go to victory
That's
lane.
dominant.
It's good stuff.
That's a lot.
To the NHRA, they have announced 2 promotions. They're moving Glenn Cromwell up from Senior Vice President of Media and Marketing into the position of NHRA President. It's a title he officially assumes on January the 1st. The man who currently holds that spot is Peter Clifford, who becomes the series Chief Executive Officer. That's, by the way, a position that they just created. No word on who's going to take over Cromwell's old position at this time. NHRA officials had toyed with the idea of dropping the number of entries that would qualify for the finals in selected 2018 events in Pro Stock Car. Well, in other words, what they wanted to do was maybe cut some of the brackets in half from the regular 16 qualifiers down to 8. But following meetings with many of the Pro Stock team owners and drivers, they've scrapped the idea. All the finals will be 16-car brackets for the entire 24-event schedule next season. It just seemed like an odd move.
Yeah, that was.
If you're trying to promote it, why are you dropping down the number of entries? It just seemed like it seemed backward logic to me.
Extreme backwards logic, no doubt.
Let's see. By the way, those two sides, drivers and owners on one side, NHRA on the other, going to continue to meet to discuss possible ideas and scenarios that might help grow the division within the Mellow Yellow Drag Racing Series, but try and keep costs down as much as possible. One of those is a possible new engine platform, which has been presented to the NHRA Tech Department for evaluation. We'll let you know more on that when we find out. Melling Performance worked up a multi-race sponsorship with Erica Enders this season. So happy with it. They've extended their sponsorship agreement with Elite Motorsports and Enders into 2018. Melling's going to be the primary sponsor of her Pro Stock entry for 16 of the 24 events next year, and will be an associate sponsor for the remaining 8. Good news there. Tasca Racing and Ford Performance has announced a sponsorship deal that will put Bob Tasca III in as a full-time entry in 2018 in the funny car ranks. He'll pilot a Ford Mustang. Ford Performance and other Ford brands have been sponsors for the entire 24 race schedule, primary for 16, co-primary for the other 8. And Racing has also formed a technical alliance with Don Schumacher Racing, so I expect Tasca Racing to be probably up there next year.
Oh, yeah.
And Vance and Hines, along with Harley-Davidson Motorcycles, going to give a rider for Junior Pippin's team a chance to race one of their bikes in the season finale next weekend. This helps Vance and Hines because now they're going to have 3 bikes out there. That'll help them get a jump on 2018 data. But this is the cool part about this move. This also proves a little bit of a nod to Junior Pippin and his team. Chip Ellis is going to team, he's the rider, with Andrew Hines and Eddie Krawick. Krawick expected to be holding his championship banner next week. Like I said, all he's got to do is qualify. Ellis is expected to be wearing his Pippin Racing leathers when he's racing at Pomona, all because Junior Pippin is battling cancer.
Wow.
Nice move, by the way, for Vance.
Very,
and
very classy move.
Very cool move.
Very good stuff.
Love that.
IndyCar and Formula One rules have one part in there that states, should a driver choose to do so following the season where they've won the title, they can change their car number from their regular number to use the number 1. Nico Rosberg retired from Formula One, so he didn't have to make that choice. But Simon Pagenaud, who claimed the 2016 IndyCar title, chose to take on the number 1 car for this season. He's going to have to, of course, give it up. He will give it over to his Team Penske teammate, Joseph Newgarden. He officially announced he would take on the number 1 in 2018. As for Pagenaud, we haven't gotten word as to what car number he's going to return to or pick up after this.
I bet it's 22.
Probably.
That's what he had before.
Newgarden, by the way, also continues to get accolades. The latest one, he has been nominated as one of the nominees for International Driver of the Year in the 2017 Autosport Awards. He's taking on pretty heavy hitters. Lewis Hamilton, we just talked about him. He's now a 4-time Formula One champion. Sebastian Vettel, the hot shoe Max Verstappen, Fernando Alonso from Formula One, Lucas de Grassi, the champion from Formula E's last season. He's also up there. So, Joseph Newgarden.
Is it just me, or shouldn't major series champions only be in classification for a Driver of the Year award?
I wouldn't have an argument with that.
Neither would I.
Fernando.
Do you concur?
Fernando Alonso.
Bush fan?
That was the first thing I thought.
Yeah, Fernando Alonso of all people?
Yeah. You should be a major series champion to
I
even
can
be
kind
in
of see where Max
consideration.
Verstappen would be in there because of how he has kind of broken out here over the last few races with a couple of wins and everything.
That would be the
I kinda
one
see
exception.
that. And let's face it, Sebastian Vettel, we all know his credibility.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Fernando Alonso was one that I just went, really?
Yeah.
Either way. Connor Daly, who was recently booted from AJ Foyt Racing after his one full-time season with them, spoke to motorsport.com, said he's been in contact with both Dale Coyne Racing and Ed Carpenter Racing about racing with either one of them. Ed Carpenter himself notably only drives the oval course races in IndyCar, so he's looking for a driver to take on the road and street course races. Meantime, Dale Coyne lost Ed Jones to AJ Foyt Racing. And that's the ride Daly's hoping to get because it would effectively, number one, mean a trade of drivers, and number two, it would mean a full-time ride. Mm-hmm. And it would also mark a return because Connor Daly drove full-time for Dale Coyne back in 2016.
Yeah,
they need a full-time anyway.
They do. IndyCar and Mexico City officials reportedly been discussing a possible Mexican Grand Prix for the American-based open-wheel series. Motorsport.com claims sources close to the discussions say it's 99% done.
Today's word is sources.
Yeah. Should this be
sources say...
Should this be approved, the race would take place the first weekend in August.
That's very hot.
Yeah, Mexico City.
In August. Olay, bring me the water.
Yeah, 14th race out of 18 if it does get approved. Mark Miles, CEO of Holman & Company, which is the parent company of IndyCar, told Motorsport.com, quote, if the race happens, it's August 5th, at least for 2018, added that an alternative date is not part of the discussions at this time. Formula One Constructors' Cup points continue to shift, but the top half of the 10-team totem pole has been solidified. Mercedes won the title last week. Ferrari is all but locked up second place. Ferrari's third. Force India, for the second time in their team history, has locked down fourth in the standings. They've scored a record number of championship points for them this season and still have 2 races to go. Williams holds 76 points. They've got 5th place. Toro Rosso's 53 points. This is where it gets interesting. Renault has 48. Haas F1 47 points. So 5th through 8th is still being contested. McLaren Honda, we'd like to say, has a chance, but let's face it, they really don't. They hold 24 points. Conceivably, they could move up, but that Honda engine performance probably not going to let that happen. And then there's Sauber, who holds 5 points. We'll leave that there.
Yeah.
When we come back, we're going to have guests in the studio, but we're also going to talk about Lewis Hamilton, because now that he's a 4-time champion in Formula One, it's starting to bring about conversations about where he stands all-time in Formula One. And because he's British, it could mean some extra honors for him as well. That and our guests coming in next, right here on the Championship Racing Network.
We will be right back with more on the Championship Racing Network.
Get in the Christmas spirit this holiday season at Christmas in the Pines. Starting November 17th through December 23rd, make memories during a mile-long hayride through the light displays and enjoy family time in the Christmas village full of arts, crafts, and food. Plus many special guests, including Grammy nominee Judy Pancoast performing December 15th and 19th, and the one and only Santa Claus visits from the North Pole. Open daily from 5 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. 7 days a week at the Camulga Grist Mill in Childersburg. For more information, including admission, visit Christmas in the Pines on Facebook or ChristmasInThePines.com.
I am Sergeant Clay Warren. I suffer from PTSD. In 2013, I ended my own life. Now my voice has been brought back to speak to people like me. Know that you're not the only one. Things can get better. You don't have to carry that burden anymore. Speak up now to get the help that you need.
22 veterans end their lives every day. You just heard the reconstructed voice of one of them. Seek help at mission22.com.
4 tires and 2 cans of fuel, and we're back to more racing action on the Championship Racing Network.
Welcome back into the Championship Racing Network here on Yay 106.5 and WYEA 1290 as part of the Radio Alabama brand of families here in East Central Alabama. Come to you live from the J&M Tank Line Studios. You can find us online at WYEA.net or download the Yay 106.5 app for smartphones and tablets. And Matt knows where to go for that stuff. But we want to remind you that this segment of each hour, of course, of the show, is sponsored by our great friends, blah, 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 at Renaissance Bank.
Got it.
I took some medicine real quick, so it's kind of
what you're
making my
blaming it on?
mouth all messed up. When you need financial freedom, make your first and only choice Renaissance Bank. Our great friends down there at Renaissance Bank. Stop in and see Janice and all the girls, and of course Russell, my buddy Russell, down there 8th Avenue Southwest in downtown Childersburg. You can find them online for more great information at renaissancebank.com, or you know what, pick up the phone and give them a call today, 256-378-4002. Renaissance Bank, the official bank of the Championship Racing Network. Back to you, Steve.
Thank you.
Here comes Steve.
Here's Steve.
So last weekend in Mexico, Lewis Hamilton claimed his 4th championship in Formula One. Ties him for 3rd on the all-time titles list for the series. We talked about it in the opening segment. This makes him the all-time title holder from the United Kingdom as well. He breaks the tie with Sir Jackie Stewart. So
Elite
this guy's in
company.
elite category.
Yep.
The question for a lot of people has become, where does he stand all-time among Formula One? I mean, Sir Jackie Stewart kind of cut his career off a bit early, so he might have been able to win more.
Yeah.
Juan Manuel Fangio, as we mentioned, he's won 5 titles all-time, and then there's Michael Schumacher, who's won 7. I got into the conversation online.
I saw that, yeah.
And I said, hey, listen, I think he's fantastic.
Yeah.
But call me when he gets to 7. And then we'll discuss
Bingo.
whether he's the best of all time.
And then you rained on somebody's parade.
Hey, that's the way it goes.
That's true.
You got to do what you got to do.
You know, call me if you want to be considered the all-time best in NASCAR, call me when you get to 7 titles, and we'll have the conversation. Call me when you get to 7 titles in IndyCar, or 4 titles when you get to IndyCar, because that's AJ Foyt.
Yep.
Call me when you get to 7 titles in Formula One. We'll talk.
I've got 8, so.
Hush. Video gamer.
I got 9.
So, where do you? Do you think that he belongs in the conversation with a Michael Schumacher?
He belongs in the conversation, but I share the same sentiment as you. When you get to 7, then we'll talk.
Right, Dustin.
I completely and totally agree.
Okay. Well, now that we are dealing with a Sir Jackie Stewart, there's also some consideration about possibly knighting Lewis Hamilton, who for his part said that should it come about, he would embrace it and would love to be given the title of Sir Lewis Hamilton. In an interview this week, he said, quote, I would like to be, excuse me, it's Sir. And then he continued on saying, quote, I've got friends who are sirs. I call them sir. When I get a text, I'm like, yes, sir. It's very unique, so why not use it in all of its beauty? I've missed the Queen since I had lunch with her back when she invited me to Buckingham Palace. I've always wanted to go back. Hey, name dropping. No word on whether Hamilton is actually being considered for knighthood, but I would imagine it's probably not too long.
Man, let me tell you, back when I was hanging out with the Queen, man, that was a ton of fun. I can't wait to go back and see her
I
again.
flew into London
She
in my
is
jet.
a riot.
Yeah.
I would imagine probably because for contributions to motorsport, we've seen obviously Sir Jackie Stewart, but there are other drivers who and other people who have been involved in motorsport from Britain who have been knighted.
They're almost goodwill ambassadors.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's...
I'd be shocked if his name isn't brought up for consideration. Maybe not next year, but within the next couple of years.
Exactly.
If he gets to 5, next year, which
I might
is
consider
probably
doing it now. I might again consider it.
Yeah.
But, again, they probably have already worked up a list for 2018.
Steve, let's put a pin in it. Okay?
Yes, put it right up there. We'll remember Lewis Hamilton, and we'll get around to him later.
Yeah.
Speaking of putting pins in, you don't want to put a pin in this.
No.
But there will be plenty of needles.
Yeah.
See where I'm going?
No.
Christmas in the Pines.
Oh, needles. Okay, I was about to say, I thought you were going to talk about something else.
I knew where he was going.
I wasn't ready for him. You see that?
He set you up, man. I knew where he was going.
I was reading, and then I turn around, and you're looking at me like, you get it? I'm like, what are we talking about?
You're like, huh?
Killer.
Yes, we are welcome into the studio, of course, Lisa Lee from Christmas in the Pines, our newest partner here at the Championship Racing Network. Welcome in.
Thank you.
You're by yourself today.
I am. I got abandoned.
I heard
That's his loss.
sources say that
Word of the
she
day.
made him stay back. Is that
Yes.
true?
It is.
Okay, so we have confirmed that.
It is.
Christmas in the Pines. For those folks out there that don't know what Christmas in the Pines is yet, what is it?
Christmas in the Pines is a Christmas light show that is coming to the Camoga Grist Mill and Covered Bridge in Childersburg, November 17th. We will feature 1.7 million lights.
Oh,
lots and lots of lights. And that's
I'm
where
guessing you're already starting on putting all those up.
yes.
How long of a process is that?
Well, we've been working on it for months, but they actually started going back. My partner Jim started putting them up at the grist mill yesterday. Wow. And we have a room full of workers today that's actually lamping, which is where Jim is at, because he's the, what did you call it, Matt?
The logistical engineer.
The logistical engineer.
Put that on a business card.
Yes.
And so when there's problems with lights that have been put up, there is not one single thing technical about me. And so he is the go-to guy.
Right.
So he and I both are big talkers, but I told him, I said, I can go down here and out-talk you in a second. So you hang back with the problem lights, and I'll go hang with the guys.
Okay, so you got 1.7 million lights going up.
1.7 million lights.
What else you got?
Yes. We have lots going on, actually. The last few weeks, it has really grown.
Okay.
First of all, we're faith-based. So when you come through our light show, you will see lots of biblical references there.
Okay.
Along with your traditional Christmas, Santa Claus, Snowman, Frosty,
Gotta have Frosty.
the whole thing.
Rudolph.
Dun, 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 dun.
The grist mill, if you know anything about it, it's set up, when you go in to the left, you go to the mill. Straight ahead is the covered bridge, and to the right is the campground. You'll go around the campground to see the lights. Some of them, a few things will be located across the creek. So, it will be bouncing off of the creek. But you go around on wagons.
Okay.
And that
So
have
this
seating.
isn't a situation where you drive your own car.
No.
Those lights
No.
bouncing off the creek will make it pretty bright.
I bet
Yes.
it will too.
Yeah.
But you will go around hayride style.
Okay.
Going around.
That's just super cool.
The roads out there were never set up for that many cars to come around. So we're actually going to be having 6
Okay.
wagons that can hold up to 40 people
Nice.
at a time that will go around, and you can see the light show. We're having a big shopping vendor side. We'll have woodwork, homemade crafts,
Okay.
Food,
That's
huge
food.
food court.
Food.
I know. I always go for the food. I'm sorry.
It took you that long to get
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, Lori Darling's in Fayetteville. They're doing the barbecue.
Ooh.
So they're going to be doing barbecue and ribs and chicken. And I'm not sure what else. She was working on more stuff to add to her menu. We have a vendor coming that's going to be doing chili and taco soup.
Okay.
Christmas in the Pines itself is doing the hamburgers.
Oh, okay.
We have a carnival type vendor called Funtime Foods that's coming out of Tennessee. So anybody that likes funnel cakes, you will definitely love this guy. 14 different flavors.
What?
Funnel
Hello.
cakes. Yes.
I mean, that's taking funnel cake to a whole new level.
Yes.
kidding.
He
14
has
different flavors. Wow.
perfected funnel cakes.
I'm definitely.
Sounds like.
But,
I'm there.
Yeah, he has coffee. He has cotton candy. He does the sausage dogs, candied apples. Just about anything you can find at a carnival, he will have it there.
You mentioned the coffee. I imagine you probably have things like hot chocolate, apple cider,
Yes,
things like that.
he has all of that at his.
Oh, okay.
We just had a vendor out of Tennessee also that's bringing our kids zone.
Okay.
And he's bringing bouncy houses. And he actually let us know the other day that he has gone and purchased a brand new bouncy house that is an interactive snow globe. So
that's
it,
neat.
Oh,
it
wow.
blows up to be a snow globe, and it snows actually inside the snow globe. The kids can get inside of the snow globe.
I need to find that. I need that for my house.
And then, all your neighbors would love you.
Oh yeah, they would.
Uh-huh.
That then you can actually get in there and take pictures. of your kids and stuff.
That is so cool.
And he's going to have an array of games.
So there's all kinds of stuff going on. You
Yes.
got all the crafts, you got all the vendors, you got all the food, you got all the fun, you got all the lights. Where did all this come from? Where did Christmas in the Pines come up with it?
Well, Christmas in the Pines has been a 30-year dream for Jim, my partner, Jim Dennis. He started working on this some 30-odd years ago just because of his love of going through Christmas drive-thrus and looking at the lights and stuff. I only came to it a year ago.
Okay.
But we've known each other for 30-something years. I was married. He was married. My husband passed. His wife passed very soon afterwards.
Yeah.
And we just started talking on Facebook. How does everybody connect but Facebook?
Yeah.
We started talking on that, and he was living in North Carolina actually at the time.
Oh, okay.
And it was being planned for North Carolina. But after his wife passed, he decided that he wanted to move back to Alabama to be closer to his family. And so he was down here visiting, and he brought the business plan with him. And he let me read it. And I got halfway through the business plan, and I told him, you know what? This has got to be done. Because he thought it was a dream that he was just going to have to shelve and never do anything with it and let it be just that, a dream. And I told him, I said, this area has nothing like this.
Not really, no.
And
There's nothing like that around here. I mean,
Yeah.
you can go see Christmas lights, but I mean, what's the best way to do it? On a hayride.
Yes.
I mean, you
When
go
my
on.
wife heard of the hayride aspect of this, she is ready to go now.
We were sitting there talking about it when you and Jim stopped by the station that day, and we sat down to talk about things. And as soon as y'all told me hayride, I perked up. I was like,
Yes.
that just makes the whole experience.
I don't know of
Justin
anyone
was
around
very
here.
excited about that.
Yes, I was.
A few years ago, there was one, and it's up near the Coleman area. So that's a 2
Yeah.
to 3 hour
It's a
drive.
very,
from here.
very long drive.
You know, to go to Ave Maria Grotto, you get something like that around here, and you can get the entire family. Because I remember doing things like this when I was a kid.
Yeah.
My grandparents would come down, whether they lived in Massachusetts or they had moved down to Florida at that time.
Right.
So it'd be the 3 generations, and we'd go out and we'd be looking at Christmas lights in and around neighborhoods, and we'd kind of been. We would have gone to something
Yes.
like this had it been available when I was a kid. And you think about it, now it's in your backyard. You don't have to go 2.5 to 3 hours to get something like this. It's in your backyard, and it's great for the entire family.
Or you think back in the day, when we were kids and stuff, is the fact that, you would go ride around looking for Christmas lights.
Yeah.
It wasn't guaranteed that you were going to find
That's
a bunch.
true. Yeah.
So you were stuck in the car all night, and, kids start getting upset. They want to
Yeah.
go home. They're tired, everything else. Now, it's right here.
Yeah.
And it's all in one spot. And you don't have to go all kinds of places. You get to park, and you get the whole experience.
Well,
You get the whole
light, to the
experience.
level of lights that this is too. A few years ago, we took a trip over to Atlanta Motor Speedway when they used to do a drive-through lights, and they had like
they did.
1.3 million. They're not doing it anymore. Charlotte's doing it. That's the first thing I thought of. That many lights is going to be to that level.
So, and the thing is this is just the beginning
Yes, this is our
for
first
Christmas
year.
in the Pines. This
Yes.
is year number one.
This is our first annual Christmas in the Pines.
That is something to think about.
Let's not forget we're going to have Santa. Santa will be there every night.
Santa's supposed to come visit us.
Oh, is he?
We're supposed to go talk to Santa, or Santa's supposed to stop by
I
here.
know what's on my list.
You cannot sit
Say
on
it.
Santa's lap and ask
Say
him
it.
for an engine.
No, I'm standing up and go, hey, I need
Oh,
more.
okay.
As long as you don't freeze up in front of him like the kid in a Christmas story and go, football?
Yeah.
This is year one. What type of ideas are you all hoping to implement with Christmas in the Pines from this point forward? I mean, this is already going to be a major undertaking, as
Yes.
we can clearly
It
tell.
is a major undertaking. And, let me mention that up until 2 weeks ago, or maybe 3 weeks ago, let me go back, he and I were the only ones doing this.
Wow.
We were doing it on our own. We have a friend that's doing the Jackie Harris that's doing the hay rides for us.
Okay.
And so he took care of the wagons and that kind of thing. But up until then, it's just been Jim and myself. So it's been a jam-packed year
I imagine
for
it
us.
has.
But let me say, like I said, we do have Santa Claus. He's going to be actually set up on the covered bridge. So I think
Nice.
that's going to be pretty cool.
Oh, that's
that will be cool.
Yeah, it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, it will be.
Set up on the covered bridge. And also, we have a stage area there. And we're going to be having nightly concerts.
Okay.
And it's going to be our local high school bands.
Okay.
Their choirs, jazz ensembles are coming. We're supposed to have some dance teams there. We're tentatively going to have 18 nights of Alabama football players coming to sign autographs.
18 different nights.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, but say I've got a list of 3 of them right now that are scheduled for the 18th of November, which is night
Yes.
number 2. That is
You said AC Carter.
AC Carter, Ray Hudson, and there was one other one.
Yeah, I can't remember who it
I'm
was.
checking my phone because Jim sent me all the info.
Yes.
And so that's just the beginning. You're planning on going through and having more as you go through.
Yes.
And these are alumnus. They're not obviously the players that are on the team this year because
Ahmad
they're kind of
Childress.
busy.
Ahmad
Childress, yes.
So those are the 3. There's more players coming.
Greg McElroy
Okay.
is supposed
Hello.
to make a stop in.
Yep.
That'll be a good one.
And there's more, and there may actually be some from the team this year.
That would be really
That's the
neat.
SEC
But
championship game.
Of course, you know, like you said, the championship coming up. So, you know, we have to
Yeah.
know how they're going to do and who could come and, you know, what their schedule is. But December the 15th, we are having a children's Grammy nominee
Okay.
named Judy Pancoast that's going to be coming
Yeah.
to do 2 concerts that night, one at 7 and one at 9. She does 12 free shows a year. And one of her shows retired last year. She saw us on a Christmas blog, and so she actually contacted us and
That's
asked
really
us
cool.
would we
Yeah, that
be
is
interested in
Very
taking
cool.
that slot. She does those free. She does the 12 shows in December free, and we have to pick out a charity that we want a percentage of the proceeds from that night to go to.
Okay.
And she actually contacted us again and offered us a second night
Oh, nice.
because she's coming back through the area, finishing it up. And so we're actually going to have her December 19th as well.
Very nice.
And so we actually got to add a second charity to that. So we're real pleased with that.
Very good.
We are, of course, sitting here with Lisa Lee from Christmas in the Pines. It's going to be up at the Camulga Grist Mill. We are going to take a quick break real quick. We're going to come back and we're going to visit a little bit more with you, of course, Lisa. So stay tuned for more. Steve's leaving us.
As always.
But we will be back for more right here on the Championship Racing Network. Stay tuned.
Don't touch that dial. The Championship Racing Network will be right back.
Get in the Christmas spirit this holiday season at Christmas in the Pines. Starting November 17th through December 23rd, make memories during a mile-long hayride through the light displays and enjoy family time in the Christmas village full of arts, crafts, and food. Plus many special guests including Grammy nominee Judy Pancoast performing December 15th and 19th, and the one and only Santa Claus visits from the North Pole. Open daily from 5 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. 7 days a week at the Camulga Grist Mill in Childersburg. For more information including admission, visit Christmas in the Pines on Facebook or ChristmasInThePines.com.
I am Sergeant Clay Warren. I suffer from PTSD. In 2013, I ended my whole life. Now my voice has been brought back to speak to people like me. Know that you're not the only one. Things can get better. You don't have to carry that burden anymore. Speak up now to get the help that you need.
22 veterans end their lives every day. You just heard the reconstructed voice of one of them. Seek help at mission22.com.
2 tires only, and back out to the track for more action on the Championship Racing Network.
Welcome back to the Championship Racing Network here on Yay 106.5 and WYEA 1290. Of course, part of the Radio Alabama brand of families here in East Central Alabama. And we are sitting down, of course, with Lisa Lee from Christmas in the Pines. Been having a great little chit-chat about this wonderful program that you've got going on out there at the Camulga Grist Mill starting on the 17th of November. And we've got a lot of people been chiming in, of course, on the Facebook page, asking some good questions and stuff. And a lot of people want to know, when does this run from, till, and everything else? So let's talk about the hours, and let's talk about how long they get a chance to experience this first year of Christmas in the Pines.
We actually, our first night is November 17th. We will be open from 5 to 10:30. We are open 7 nights a week. and we run through December 23rd.
So all the way through December
35
23rd.
nights.
35 nights to experience
35
Christmas
nighs.
in the Pines.
Yes.
And my wife will want to be there at 34.
Well, just bring her on.
Oh, she okay.
Yeah, you might as well
We're
just-
definitely going to be there.
Y'all might as well just take a tent and just camp out
Just
there.
camp out there.
You know,
That's right.
You might as well just stay out
There's
there.
camping space.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people, you've had a lot of exciting things going on as leading up to the event, starting up, of course, with Christmas in the Pines, starting on, like you said, the 17th of November. Y'all did some, capitalized off the Silicaga rocks and the hiding of these
Yes,
rocks.
we
How
did.
many so far have been found, and how many did y'all put out there?
We actually put 4 rocks per town.
Okay.
So Childersburg had 4, Fayetteville had 4, Silicaga, Lincoln, Montford, Talladega. Did I miss anybody? Silicaga.
What was that? Yeah, we got that.
Yeah.
So about 20
Yeah.
rocks.
Yeah.
How many have been found so far?
Winterboro, yes. To be honest with you, I can't remember.
I was about to say, I know somebody went on the Silicaga Rocks Facebook
Yes.
page and posted out there that they were finding the rocks.
Yes.
So what is so special about these rocks, though?
Well, what it is it has one of our labels on it, and if you find this rock, you get a free admission
Now that's pretty cool.
to the show.
Oh, yeah.
So
You you bring your rock with you when you come, whatever night you want to come. You bring your rock with you, and you present it to us at the window, and you get free admission.
that is so cool. Now,
the show.
now, not only can individuals come out, but you have groups of people that are wanting to come in.
Yes.
Groups that want to come in together and see the lights and experience the Christmas village and
Yes.
everything about Christmas in the Pines. What do folks need to do to make that happen? I know that's something that needs to be planned and everything, but for groups that are interested in coming out to Christmas in the Pines, what do they need to do?
Okay, they can go to our Facebook page, or they can go to our website. Our Facebook page is Christmas in the Pines AL. And then, of course, you can go to christmasinthepines.com
Right.
and send us a message.
Now, what's the maximum size of a group? What's the minimum size and the maximum size?
To come in a group, you have to have 10 in a group.
Okay.
We're at, church groups. We've had several church groups. We actually have a big group from Tennessee, a big group from Muscle Shoals, a big group from Georgia that are bringing 200 plus people at once.
Really?
Yes.
From Tennessee, Muscle
Yes.
Shoals, and all the way from over in
Yeah.
Georgia.
That's awesome.
That is
Hello.
super awesome. I mean, that's something that's you don't really get the chance to see too much down here, is the fact of a lot of stuff drawing in people from other
Yes.
places. So that is absolutely awesome. How did they find out about this?
We started, putting it on Facebook and doing the boost on Facebook,
Yeah.
and it just takes it. And as people see it, they share it.
Now, if you want to get in touch with Christmas in the Pines, of course, if you're on the feed right now, we've got y'all tagged in all of our stuff that we're putting out. You can jump over right to their Facebook page. You can get more information there.
Yes.
Or like you said, christmasinthepines.com and give you more information. All on the website. Does that include what's the admission and everything else? What's that looking like?
Okay, the admission is 5 and under get in free. For ages 6 to 12 are $10, and then 13 and above are $14. And you will receive a token. And what the token is for that's your way onto the hayride.
Okay.
But we will also have another booth set up that if you want to go through because the token gets you one trip through the show, the
Okay.
lights. But if you want to go through again, there will be a ticket booth available where you can purchase a ticket to go through the hayride again if you want to.
Now, does that admission get you just to the rides, or does that get you into the village and
It
everything
gets
as well?
you into the village and everything.
So that's basically the
Yeah.
gate.
Great
That's
deal.
you
Yes,
get through the gate
it
and you're
gets you
in.
through the
Yeah,
gate.
Okay.
For that
and
price.
if you,
Yeah.
we take PayPal, and we also, have the Square. So if you want to do a group, you can go through PayPal and prepay it, and then we will mail your tokens to you, and we will have a second line so that you don't have to stand at the window to purchase your tickets.
Express Pay.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I love
Express
that.
Pay.
I love that.
So that you don't stand in
Fast.
line,
Yeah.
and already paid, and having to stand in line, that separates you from that. Also, I want to give a big shout out to the city of Childersburg.
Go for it.
because this year the city is all lit up downtown.
Right.
And for about 2 weeks now, every day the city of Childersburg evolves. You can go through, you might go through this morning, you're seeing the same thing you saw last night, but when you come back through tonight, you're going to see something different and something added.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the residents have come up and adopted the buildings that don't have anything in them right now, that doesn't house a business in them.
Right.
And they're decorating the storefronts.
Really?
Yes.
I caught a
And
glimpse of that
so-
yesterday. That's pretty cool.
That's
And,
now that's a different way of bringing the community together. I like that.
The police department's helping. The fire department's helping, actually. The fire department had their ladder truck out yesterday, putting wreaths up high on the 2-story buildings.
That's
and
awesome.
Stuff. It was very cool to see. They're out, actually, different people decorating today. So if you've been through Childersburg this morning, it's going to look different tonight.
I'm going to have
when
to
you
stop
go
down to
through.
Childersburg ASAP. I got to stop down and go
Yeah.
see Janice and the folks at Renaissance anyway, so I might as well.
Yeah.
I'll be going through there this when I leave here.
Janice and them, they had a big decorating day, I understand. Yesterday, I believe it was.
Did you see them dressed up last week for Halloween?
You know, I actually missed that. I missed it.
I gotta-
I had to
I'm
go
not
on
gonna
Facebook
say
like everybody
anything.
else to
Yeah,
see
you
the
had to go on
pictures.
Facebook, and she was dressed as the
Yeah.
Cowardly Lion. That was funny.
It was.
There's
She
a
is
theme
hilarious.
behind
She's
that.
going to kill me for that one, but
There's
it's okay.
a theme behind that.
Yeah, I need to find out the theme on
Yes.
that one. But
well, we love Renaissance.
yes,
We love Renaissance.
yeah, we love having them
They
on
have
board.
been absolutely wonderful.
That's right, because you came
Yes.
out for the breast cancer awareness
Yes.
event out there for the
Yes.
Pinkaween Chili Cook-Off.
Yes.
That's where we got together and we
That's how
hooked
we got
up. That's
together.
right. That's
Yes.
right. I remember that.
That's where Christmas in the Pines and CRN became partners.
That's right. And now this is going to be a great thing because I'm
Yes.
super excited and we're going to be putting out
Oh, yeah.
tons of information
Oh, yeah.
from now all the way through the opening, all the way through the end.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you said 1.2 million lights, right?
1.7.
1.7 million lights.
Yes.
Okay. So where do you go from here? How do you make this better next year?
We already have plans to up our light count to 2.5 million next year.
Wow.
I was about to say go double.
Yes.
Try to go double.
Now, is that going to? Are you going to need more room, or is there enough room out there at the grist mill for that?
We've pretty much maxed the grist mill out this year.
That's awesome, though. I mean, because
Yeah.
a lot of people don't even realize what's out there. So this is not only going to enhance the grist mill, it's going to enhance the history of the area, but it's also going to be you're going to be out there for Christmas in the Pines. So you're going to be out in the middle of nowhere almost, and getting that old
school, old style feeling.
that feeling back in the day
And
where you're
1.7
away from the city and
that
you're out
entire
there.
place, 1.7 million lights, that will almost have the entire place lit up.
That is super.
It ain't
So
gonna
what
be
do you
far.
do then? I mean,
You just
how you gonna
grow
run it?
bigger.
I mean,
You get more stuff. I mean,
well,
you
if
fill
there's no
up
more
more
room,
trees.
I bet 4 more trees.
Fill up more trees.
For those of you that are just tuning in, of course, we're visiting with Lisa Lee from from the Christmas and Pines up in Childersburg at the Camilga Grist Mill, and that's starting November 17th.
November
It's
17th.
running through December 23rd.
2 weeks.
Yes.
It's 7 days a week. And it's
5
from
weeks.
5 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Now, there's a lot of people that'll ask the question, when's the last group able to get in?
Good point.
I mean, you can come in at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
And, I mean, we officially close at 10:30, but if there's still people in there, of course, we're still, going to stay open. But the gates will close at 10:30.
At 10:30. So if
About-
you're in there
Yes.
before 10:30.
Yeah.
Yes.
About how long does the hayride take?
The hay rides will take about 15 minutes.
Okay.
So 15 minutes.
not too
15
bad.
minutes.
Plus, you got all the food, you got all the
Yeah.
vendors,
Yes.
and everything else. Let's talk about that one more time, real quick, for those who are just tuning in. Of course, you've got the hayride that you go through all the lights, 1.7 million lights.
1.7
But then you've got all these other things as well set up as well. You've got all these vendors. Let's talk about
Vendors.
those one more time for those who are just joining us.
There will be vendors that have wooden signs. We have a vendor that does magnets, and the name of their company is HBJ, which stands for Happy Birthday Jesus.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Okay.
And so Santa will be there from 5 to 9. The vendors, I encourage you, if you want, to come out more than one time, because some of the vendors will be changing out weekly. So you may come one week and there's one batch of vendors there, and then the next week some of the vendors from the first week will be gone and there will be new vendors in. So, we encourage you to come and visit more than one time.
Well, we are hoping to take the show out there for one evening and go live.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, I was about to say, we are looking forward to getting out there. I mean, it's going to be a little different. So for those of us who love catching us from 11 to 1, we're working on moving that day just for a little while. We're going to be out there at the Camoga Grist Mill for Christmas in the Pines. We're going to experience it ourselves at nighttime. So, I mean, that's going to be even better to do, is be able to describe all of that, and, of course, telling all the great folks.
Mom on the Facebook feed says hello.
Yes. Hey, Sheila. Also, another thing that we have added is we're actually doing a house decorating contest this year.
That's right. That was what I was getting ready to go to next. I had a note.
Yes. And we're giving away cash prizes for first, second, and third place.
Okay.
So we're encouraging everybody that wants to be considered to. We already have a panel of judges that's going to be going around.
There are some rules to this, too.
Yeah.
There are some rules.
Yes, there's some rules.
Yes.
It has to be old-fashioned.
Right. That's the theme,
Because
an
that's the
old-fashioned
theme.
Christmas.
Old-fashioned.
Right.
We're trying to take it back to a slower time.
Right.
We want people, first off, we want people to go back and understand and realize why we have Christmas in the first place.
Exactly.
Bingo.
And
everybody's kind of gotten discombobulated with the way the holidays actually are.
Yeah. That's right. Going back to what the true meaning of Christmas is.
Mm-hmm.
We want people to come out there as family, be able to leave your troubles behind for the amount of time that you're out there. And actually, as you come in, there's going to be a worry tree.
This was the thing I like. I like this idea.
I want to hear about this.
This is super cool. Talk about that.
There's going to be what we call a worry tree there. And the sign that'll be on it will say, "Leave your worries on this tree." Go into Christmas in the Pines, have a good time, spend time with your family. We're going to have a fire pit actually out by the creek with some chairs and stuff around it, and people can sit around and talk, with family, or if you run into friends or make new friends.
Yeah.
You can sit down there, you can listen to the music, you can talk. Just slow down. Spend time with your family. Spend time with your friends.
That's what needs to happen now.
Take away from the stresses of your day and the stresses of your job. So that's the purpose of the worry tree.
Man,
just leave your worries on the tree. And then if you want to pick your worries up and take them with you, that's fine. But don't take them into Christmas in the Pines.
No.
Or if you just want to leave them and don't take them
That's
with
right.
you.
Don't take it back.
There you go.
Leave all that behind. I don't need it. Anybody forget this? Nope. I don't know what you're talking about. Just walk away. And it sounds like a really, really great experience out of Christmas in the Pines. And, of course, we're already running short on time. Wow. I mean, this is went by fast.
Already?
It's already over.
Man.
But for anybody who has been just tuning in, of course, Lisa Lee from Christmas in the Pines. You want to find out more, of course, go to Christmas in the Pines on Facebook, Christmas in the Pines AL, or go to ChristmasInThePines.com. Or you know what? If you're on our page, just simply click on our link. We'll take you right over to their page. You can find out more. And, of course, it's November 17th to December 23rd, 7 days a week, 5 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. There's everything that you want for
anything that you can imagine.
A Griswold family Christmas.
Yes.
That's exactly what we all need anyway. We thank you so much for coming in. We're gonna do one big quick thing that we got to do. We have to do our pick for the week.
Okay.
So, who's gonna win at Texas, Garrett?
Brad Keselowski.
Okay. Who's going to win at Texas?
Person I've said all along, Chase Elliott rebounds.
All right. I'm saying Martin Truex Jr. wins at Texas.
That's obvious.
So, I can't go wrong.
The owl flies this weekend.
The owl flies this week.
Hooters is only 24 this week.
The owl. Okay. I get that.
The owl flies.
He is obsessed with Chase Elliott. Well, we have had an outstanding time, of course, talking to everybody out there today. We always have such an awesome time, and even when we get a little fired up about some racing and stuff.
Bouncing.
But we want to thank real quick. We want to thank all the great folks that make our show possible. Of course, Christmas in the Pines. We just got done talking to Lisa Lee. You can find out more. Like we said, visit ChristmasInThePines.com or get them on Facebook. Christmas in the Pines AL. Remember, that's November 17th to December 23rd. We're going to be talking more about that throughout the coming weeks, so don't worry. You're going to be able to find out all about that as well. Thanks so much to Lisa and Jim for coming on the show. It's great to have them on board. Also to the folks at Renaissance Bank. Choosing a bank is not easy. You're trusting your money in your future with the hands of strangers. Don't be a stranger. Join the family at Renaissance Bank. Make sure you stop by and visit them in Childersburg today. Renaissance Bank, the official bank of the Championship Racing Network. And, of course, stop down there on 8th Avenue Southwest and let them know that, you heard about them right here on the Championship Racing Network. We're going to have so many more things coming up. Stay tuned. We got more coming at you. We'll talk to you next week, same time, right here on Yay 106.5 at WYEA 1290 for the best in racing talk. And that is what, Matt?
Championship Racing Network.
A little bit more enthusiasm.
Championship Racing Network.
That's what I'm talking about. We'll talk to y'all next week. Take care.
See ya.
This has been a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.